video, I want to show you how to wrap up a decorated cake, or maybe it would be the top tier of your wedding cake. Unfortunately, I made a cake last week and the girl didn't come pick it up. And instead of me getting angry about the situation, the namaste yoga in me just allowed the situation to be, and I want to turn it into something positive so I could show you what you can do if you want to freeze your cakes. Because sometimes our parties get canceled because of the weather, or you want to wrap up the top tier because of your wedding and have it on your first anniversary. So I want to show you a couple of options and things that you could do. Also, pay no attention to my hair. I have no makeup on. I just wanted to make this video. I don't really think you care. You just kind of want to see what I do, how I wrap up the cakes. So just keep on watching. Okay, so to do this process, I have the cake. I have aluminum foil, plastic wrap, and 2 boxes. I have the big box so that if you want to wrap up the whole cake, it'll fit the whole cake in this box. And I also have a small box if we're just gonna do the top tier, like if it's for a wedding cake. So I will show you how I do both. In a case like this, I would recommend to remove the topper and then wrap the cake underneath. So you're gonna wanna set the topper aside. So I would pull this out. By the way, this is a 6-inch and 8-inch cake on a 12-inch cake board, and I have a 12-inch box here. So I would set this aside, and I would probably wrap up the topper. I want to make sure I'm not in the way here. Probably wrap up the topper just to make sure it doesn't get ruined, and set it aside. When you wrap up a cake, if it is at room temperature, you want to make sure that you put it in the freezer for, I would say, about an hour. If you don't have room in the freezer, you want to find room in a refrigerator, and you want to stick it in there for a couple hours so the icing is solid and you can easily handle the cake without ruining it at all. So now I'm going to show you how to wrap up the whole cake, and then I'll show you how to wrap up just the top tier, like if we're doing the wedding cake. So what I would do first is I have this plastic wrap. This is 18 inches wide. Also, I'm not gonna do this right now. I just pulled the topper out and it made a little hole in the top of the cake. I would probably seal that with a little bit of icing before I wrap this up, but that's just me. So, wrapping up the whole cake, I'm going to take this plastic wrap and just start wrapping it up. Trying to be mindful that we're not going to ruin any of these little decorations. Also, try to get the plastic wrap as close to the cake as you can, trying to avoid any air getting onto the cake. And now I do it this side, I'm going to turn it this way and do it the opposite way. And now I'm going to wrap it again, but this time wrap the whole board as well. So there you go, now it's really wrapped here. There are a couple different options. You can put it in this box and also wrap it again. I don't want to keep wasting all this plastic wrap, but you can put it in the box and again, wrap it in plastic wrap and just give it another layer of protection. Or if you don't have enough room in the freezer for the box, you could just wrap it again with a plastic wrap. So I will probably have 3 layers of plastic wrap again. So again, taking this out and wrapping the whole, like underneath the whole board, wrapping up the cake. So it'd be 3 times that it's wrapped. And then after it's wrapped like this, it is ready to go in the freezer. Now I'm going to show you how to just wrap the top tier. I do have, this is a 6-inch cake. I have an 8-inch cake box. Unfortunately, when I bought these cake boxes, I didn't realize that they were only 2 inches tall, so they're not very tall. So we won't be able to close the lid. So what I'm gonna do is cut the lid off and put the box together. See, it's not very tall, but we can work with it, not a problem. If this is a wedding cake, they most likely will have removed the top tier for you, but I will just show you. If you need to take a cake apart, you need to be very careful if the icing is not solid. If you have time to put this in the refrigerator to let the icing solidify, it'll be a lot easier to handle. This is fresh out of the fridge, so it is already hard. But what you want to do is get a spatula in between each cake tier. This cake is on top of a cardboard circle, and then there's the cake underneath. So you want to get the spatula underneath the cake and that cardboard circle to be able to start lifting it up. There we go. So you see the cardboard circle here. I'm gonna set this down. I'm just gonna reuse all this plastic wrap that I used before so I don't put too much to waste. But I'm gonna set this on top of the plastic wrap and wrap it up. And then give it a quarter turn and wrap it up in the other direction. And if this is a wedding cake, since it'll be in the freezer for a year, wouldn't hurt to wrap it up again. If this is the top tier of your wedding cake, you need to take this home, put it in the freezer or the refrigerator and get the icing to solidify before you start this process. I think I mentioned that, but I'm not sure, so I'm just saying it again. So, after you wrapped it, this is 3 times it's totally wrapped. I'm going to take some foil, wrap it in foil as well. And then it is all wrapped up and ready to go into the freezer. If you want a little extra protection, you can put it in the box and then wrap the box up as well. It's not a necessary step. If I had a box that was actually bigger and the lid could close and I could wrap the box up, I would do that as well, just for a little bit extra protection. Having the cake wrapped like this, not in a box, is still okay to freeze. So here you go. Here is your top tier wedding cake ready to be frozen, or if you wanted to freeze the whole cake before I took this top tier off. Either way, your cake is wrapped up and ready to be put in the freezer. A couple things about this. You don't want to just take this out of the freezer and put it on the countertop because it will form condensation most likely. You want to thaw it slowly. So take it out of the freezer and place it in the refrigerator for up to 48 hours. I would say between 24 to 48 hours so it can slowly thaw. After you take it out of the refrigerator, make sure you keep it wrapped and then bring it out to a cool room. If it's in the middle of the summer, you're going to want to have it in air conditioning so it can come to room temperature slowly. After you take it out of the refrigerator, it is still going to be solid. So I would remove the foil, but still keep the plastic wrap on. And then as it's slowly coming to room temperature, making sure that it's not forming any condensation, keeping it in a cool room, you can slowly start to remove the layers of plastic. If it is a fully decorated cake, you want to gently remove it, trying to make sure that you are not going to ruin the cake as you take off the plastic. If it's just the top tier of your wedding cake and you're just cutting it to eat it, you can be a little less careful, if you will, while removing the plastic. I've had before in the past, people have had parties canceled because of weather, or something unfortunate comes up and they have to postpone the party, but they already got the cake. And freezing it like this and slowly thawing it doesn't have an effect on the moisture or the flavor or anything like that. As long as you wrap it up correctly and thaw it slowly, you shouldn't have a problem. So I think that is it. If you have any questions, leave them below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And like always, please give this a thumbs up if you liked it, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and you want to see more videos like this. And you can find me on social media. I am on Instagram and Facebook, and I have my website. I will link all of that below. So I think that's it for now. I will see you